So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, and their challenges, and what's really driving them forwards. And this afternoon, I'm delighted that we have with us Louise Haines, who's Managing Director at Henley Reward Consulting. So, Louise, firstly, thanks for spending a bit of time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and your business, what you do, and how you help people, that would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Well, no, thank you so much for having me today, Chris. So, as you say, I'm Louise Haines. I head up Henley Reward Consulting. We're a business that was set up two and a bit years ago, and we're research-led pay and reward benchmarking consultancy. What does that mean? So we support companies ensuring that they are rewarding and paying their employees, market tested reward and benefits. So we support organisations looking at their own markets. So and we work across all sectors, so public, private, not-for-profit, predominantly UK focused, but we also do international reviews, and we also support organisations at all levels through executive remuneration, but also through full organisational reviews and benefit reviews. And we know the employee landscape has changed significantly. And so it's really supporting clients in navigating those changes and supporting organisations to understand what employees are looking for in the marketplace. So what does an employee value proposition look like?
Yeah.
What's competitive? What are people looking for at the moment? What's of value? How has pay changed? What's the pay awards looking like? And I think particularly since COVID, our work-life balance has changed. People are looking for different things. So we help support and provide that insight information to enable companies to make informed decisions about their reward strategies.
Brilliant.
So that's a little bit about what we do.
Fascinating. It's certainly something. Obviously, we work with lots of businesses certainly across Yorkshire, and as you said, the landscape has changed so much, and it's easy as an employer myself, but also working with clients to get in a bubble of, well, this always has been about rights, and it's the whole thing is changing, isn't it? So much.
Really changing. I think we work with small businesses with a small number of employees, from 5 to 10 employees, right through to large businesses that 4,000, 10,000 plus employees. But some of the same messages and things are still present, whether you're small or large. And even in the current climate, it's really difficult to recruit and retain the best talent. So we look to help and support in providing that data and insights.
Brilliant.
And I suppose our selling point is that we don't have we do have a database of information, but we proactively go out and gather that information through conversation, so with employees, with HR teams, with leaders, to really get to grips with what's happening today, and gathering real-time information. So the data we're providing clients is as robust and as appropriate to them. So we make sure that we are benchmarking and gathering information from the most appropriate organisations to them, the most relevant markets, whether that's local, regional, national, international, whatever it may be. And it could be as big as small as it needs to be.
Yeah, it's certainly something. I'm speaking to a lot of businesses at the moment. I've always for the last couple of years, and the proposition that every business has a marketing budget and typically a customer service budget to retain, to recruit and retain clients.
Yes.
And I feel it's really important now to have a similar budget for employees. Attract and retain is so important now, because if not, then we're just going to continue a churn of of employees.
Oh, definitely. And I think, being able to support and retain, and it's not just about salary anymore.
Yeah.
Employees are wanting to be really engaged with that employee, and, employees are looking at their values, how they operate, their culture, and wanting to know, how am I going to get from A to B, and I want that to be in a fair and transparent way.
Yes.
So it's not just looking at the numbers, it's looking at some of the strategies and the foundations of what your reward framework looks like. And, most businesses don't work without, good people. So that's what we try to do and support.
Brilliant. Perhaps if you could tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into business and why this particular one for you.
So my background, I was a bit geeky at school, so I did history as a degree and a master's degree. At the time I didn't really know what I was going to go into. Everyone kept saying, "You're going to be a history teacher." It's like, no, I don't want to be a history teacher. So I think because I did a degree that I loved and I was very, passionate about, but it doesn't automatically lead into a career. But actually, it provided lots of really useful skills like analysis, like you having to use your own initiative to go out and extract and gather information. And so my first couple of roles was in recruitment, in executive research, and as an executive researcher. So I did headhunting, started. My main focus initially was construction and property in executive research, and my grounding in my history degree, tenuously, but it really did help me to to be organized and methodical in terms of seeking out information, identifying the best sources and the best people to speak to. This was before LinkedIn. We so we had to be quite tenacious back in the day. And I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the interaction with people, much more than I thought I was going to, because it really built my communication skills in terms of building. And I don't know, executive research and headhunting is quite none of my friends have ever heard of it as a role, and everyone's heard of recruitment, but maybe not executive research and headhunting. So it's always a tough one to explain, but it just gives you so much grounding. So I sort of built myself up and developed my skills in terms of the research side, gathering, speaking with senior leaders, overcoming, confidence issues to reach out and speak to people, to to chat to people about senior leadership roles.
Yes.
And you just get so much understanding of business. You get to understand where people are structured, how people develop their careers. You get a really like a snapshot of somebody's life, and it's fascinating. And I moved. It wasn't just construction property. I broadened out to be more generalist across public sector and broader private sector senior leadership reviews, and managed a research team within Hayes Executive. So Hayes the recruitment, so their executive arm, managed the team there, and I did that for many years, and but wanted then to do something different. And my bosses at the time were really supportive of me, using my skills to develop into something else. So I used that methodology to develop into benchmarking, talent insights. So using the same frameworks to develop that business, and I set that business up within Hayes. for many years, and then wanted to set up on my own, and I managed to find the courage to do that.
Well
Yeah,
done.
2.5. So we sit within a bigger group called Henley Insights Group. So there's a bit of a sort of a support network there, and we've got some great connections. So they do broader talent insights. So we've got a really good sort of a spectrum of service offerings. But yeah, it's from I never thought when I started out that I'd be where I am.
Brilliant. Great. Exciting
I kind
journey.
of waffled there, Chris.
No, not at all. No, it's fascinating. It's so interesting how different people get into the role they're in. It's
Yeah.
going through your college degree and using those skills in different ways, and it's really great. And so since founding it, well, what that's 2.5 years. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges and issues you've had to overcome?
I think some of it's been like your own confidence. So just overcoming the fact that I can do it, and
Yes.
build something on my own, and so that was the first thing. I had a great support network with the wider group.
Yes.
But I think one of the strongest things I've found and learned over the last 2.5 years is using your network and partnerships. So developing really strong partners with other independents or other consultancies or support networks.
Yes.
To help build lead generation. So
yes.
You're not just doing it on your own.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit of a scary thing, particularly when you've got, you're managing people and you want to make sure there's a good pipeline and flow coming through. It's like you want to, make sure the work's coming through. But sometimes it can be, I've had this discussion before, but it can be quite a lonely place.
Yeah.
But if you've got a network of people that you can work with, your peers, and you can engage and develop other ways of generating leads and networks, it's so important. And
Yes.
I've got some great people that I can turn to and just say, well, how about helping with this, or are you going to shall we do a webinar? Shall we do this? What are you finding in the marketplace? And it all comes together, and it just, it doesn't feel so sort of lonely or difficult when you've got those support networks there.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's always help out there. There's always people that will either want to help or and collaborate. And,
yes.
And just share, as you say, share knowledge, share experiences, share expertise.
Yes. Oh, and I think that is probably the biggest thing of the last 2.5 years. And I've built some great partnerships, and all my, they're like friends, and can turn to. So so that's probably been a great help to develop the business.
And what else have you learned about business in general, would you say?
I think I think just trying to ride the waves a bit sometimes. Yes. It is like buses. It is like buses, and I think you try and predict what is going to happen, and you've got some indications of what that might look like at a high level, and you can use those to generate, we use that to generate insights and things to support organizations. But it's managing the peaks and troughs, and I think you just have to learn to ride the waves. And if you've got that, I'm quite a positive person, so I know that if you have a dip, I know that there will be a wave. That comes up. So I think just try and be flexible with business, because Yeah.
It's a really good point, isn't it? Because it's like business does this, and the challenge
Yes.
we typically have is we tend to extrapolate, or certainly extrapolate that down. So if we
Yeah.
do that, we think, but you're absolutely right. You know, a wave follows a dip follows a wave, and it's understanding that it is a cycle, and it's
Yes.
accepting that and not allowing those fears that happen with most people. You know that we see this get, you know, we go into that looks like it, but it's not permanent. It's I
Yes. Yeah.
think it was a great quote. I think it was actually Churchill might have been that said something like failure isn't fatal and but success isn't permanent either. So it's about accepting each at the right point, that
Yes.
and one
Yes.
typically follows the other. So
Yes. And I think, I think as well, enjoying the successes of the team and, again, riding the waves together, as it were,
yeah,
and that collaboration piece. And, and we, that's how we sort of look at clients in terms of we want to be seen as like an arm of their business. So, we're supporting them
yes,
with their own waves. And I think it's just being flexible and adapting, and to sometimes not take things as personally,
yeah,
and just sort of ride those out. And I think as long as you're doing everything you can to be flexible, adapt, and to be positive, you know that you're going to come back.
yeah. No, yeah, very sound, very sound. Funny enough, our founder, I remember he did he was doing a presentation a little while ago. It was probably just before COVID, but one of the things he said is, look, you know, economic cycles are just like the cyclical nature of the seasons. We know,
Mm.
we know, you know, farmers know that spring follows winter. They don't know exactly when spring starts, but they know it's going to happen, and it's understanding if
Mm.
we're in a downturn, an upturn will follow. It's just we just don't know exactly when,
Yes.
but we know it's bound to happen. And I think that certainly helped me just that realize that it's just about enduring the dip until
Yes.
we get onto the next wave. And once you sort of can embed that, the dips become less challenging. That's certainly what I found.
Yes.
And Louise, you're probably aware we're a business coaching organisation, and so I'm just keen to know who the best coaches are that you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, or just life in general.
Um, so I think some of my coaches are probably being more, um, maybe more closer, like, some some. I think when I was sort of developing my career, particularly maybe in recruitment and even in some of the wider sectors, it's quite, um, it can be quite male dominated in some of those
Yes.
industries, and so you know I always look to some strong women to support, and I've had some absolutely fabulous friendships to support,
Brilliant.
and coach, and support me. One of my closest peers and friends, is a lady called Claire McLeod, and she's worked in executive recruitment for many years, and I don't know if she's been, well, she has been, we sort of coached each other in terms of supporting,
Brilliant.
and just giving positive reassurance that we
Yeah.
can do this.
Yep.
You can make that next step,
Yes.
or do this, or and also the uh, chair of Henley Insights Group as well has really supported me and given me the trusted in me to help support setting up the business, and that's
Brilliant.
a gentleman called Richard Boots. So I've had people that have been very supportive in seeing what I can do
Yep.
and just being able to give me the support I need to make quite
Brilliant.
significant changes.
Wonderful. And have you picked up any favourite quotes or sayings that you catch yourself using on a regular basis?
Oh, I'm rubbish at quotes. I just can't remember them.
That's all good.
So, but I normally say it all comes together by a Friday. Or so yeah, it does normally all come together. Yeah, I'm rubbish at quotes because I can never
All good.
remember them.
I just love collecting them. I just find it's something I like to pick up. I think the one just related to what you sort of said there about being ready on Friday. I think it's a lovely quote, and they come from everywhere. I think this one actually comes from the great. Is it the best exotic marigold hotel when he says
Oh, it,
you'll all be all right at the
all,
end, and if it's
it
not all
does,
right,
yeah,
it's not the
yeah,
end.
yeah. It
It's
does all come together.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so, Louis, what would you say you've learned about yourself throughout your journey?
Um, I think I've learned that I'm actually stronger than I ever thought I was
Brilliant.
in business. Um, and just growing in terms of, you know, being able to, I can just do it.
Yep.
Could, going outside the comfort zones. You know, I do quite a bit of presenting, webinars, and things like that, which, looking back sort of 10 years ago, it's like I never thought, beyond that. It's just like,
Well,
quite daunting. But I don't know. I think with age, you just built self-confidence, and I think you just have to do it, and just if you feel that you've got an offering or talent or something that and you believe in, and you've got those support networks that are saying the same thing. I
yep.
think you just have to give it a go. You just have to try, because you're always going to have that niggling voice in the back of your head going, "Oh, what if?" And yes, there are ups and downs with the journeys, but yeah, you just have to, as I say, ride that wave. There we go. There's a quote for you.
Ride the wave,
Yeah.
absolutely. Great. Well, but it is a great thing to consider. It is that they are, this is what it's like, and it's. But one of my mentors, one of the ex CEOs of my organisation, one of the things he said early doors, which I thought was sort of quite a long time ago, and he said the job of a business owner is to solve problems. So
Mm,
if we don't like problems, don't get into business. Is
yes.
and it's a really good point. And
Yeah,
my
yeah.
my sort of learning or adding to that is problems come from growth. That's what they call
Hmm.
growing pains. So if we don't have problems,
Yeah.
probably not growing that fast.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they're a good thing. It's
Yes.
they are a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, the world is not standing still, and
No.
you have to adapt. And that's what, the new it's a new Labour workforce that's coming through, different expectations,
Yes.
and that there are still things like, there is still like a glass ceiling, and we have to keep moving forward to make change,
Yes.
and yes, it might be just small building blocks, and but yes, you just have to, keep going, and be quite tenacious to work through some of the, problems and challenges. But I think, doing it in a collaborative way, partnership way, I think doing it so you're all doing it together really helps.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. And so looking forward to is what does the future look like for you guys, and what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
So it's been, in 2.5 years we've grown quite significantly. We've got a team of 4. We're looking to consolidate a little bit at the moment,
Yep.
and but we are looking to expand and continue our growth
Brilliant.
in in the work that we do. And I think, we're adapting to our clients, and we're wanting to be much more of a thought leader. So we're looking to produce more insight pieces, more webinars, more just to support organisations. There is so much now connected with reward. HR is lots of different things, and it's just increasing in terms of what that can look like, and what that means. And so we're able to help and support organisations to fulfil their growth and vision. That's what we're looking to do. So excited for the next few years. There's so many things that are happening, like building that employee value proposition, developing like environmental, social, governance issues into rewards, pay transparency, pay gaps, and ensuring that organizations have got that narrative as well. It's like they might be, a lot of organizations are doing some great things around supporting employees, but actually they're maybe not shouting about it enough. So it's just showcasing, well, actually, if you compare yourself to the market, you are actually doing some really wonderful and great things. And it's just highlighting that, well, what can you do with that? How are you communicating that internally and externally? And actually, you are doing, in these areas, you are, exceeding in terms of what the market is doing. So I think it's just showcasing what's out there, and what actually they're doing well at, as well as identifying areas of opportunity as well.
Brilliant. What would you say to anyone that was thinking of going to business right now?
I think it's challenging at the economy at the moment. It's a bit sluggish. But I think there is change happening, and I think we set up Henley Reward Consulting. It was just after the pandemic, and I think if you've got a strong offering, and you're passionate about it, you've got some good sounding boards, I think, give it a go.
Brilliant.
We did it after the pandemic, and it's like, well, is this the right time? There's always going to be something.
Yes.
And I think, you just have to leap in, feet first, head first. Yeah.
Brilliant. Love it. Absolutely. I would totally agree. And just looking back yourself, is there anything, if you started again, is there anything significant that you think you do differently?
I don't think anything maybe significant. I think putting some of the foundations in at the beginning, we grew quite quickly, quite fast, and I think it's just trying to, sometimes you're paddling quite quickly to keep up, but I think it's making sure that your employees and your clients are aware and keeping pace with that change, and that they're you bring them along with the journey. I think it's that narrative piece, isn't it? It's really important. But yeah, just keep things flexible, I think, to make sure that you're able to manage those sort of peaks and troughs.
Yes. No, that makes all the sense. And finally, look for yourself. What would be the best advice you could give an 18-year-old you if you could go back in time and do so?
I would probably recommend to myself to take a year out and go traveling because yeah, that's probably my main regret. Like looking back, I think as you start your career, whatever that might be, and then you start family, and more responsibilities, go and do that, go and
Brilliant.
have fun, go and travel, go and see a bit of the world, because it's really difficult to do that when you're older. Me and my husband are well, when we retire, we're going to get a camper van and we're going to travel, but it might not be the same experience if we did that when we were 18.
That's it's an interesting one. I was lucky enough to do so when I was just late 20s, so it was halfway through the career, and
Yeah,
so again not quite and still pre-kids, but it was
yeah,
interesting how many people had there was in a few families that went with young kids, which was quite stunning. In fact, we went
yes.
later on with a short trip with our young daughter. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's a great grounding and it's great fun. And as you say, doesn't matter what age you are, it's still going to be fun. It's
Yeah,
a different
yeah,
way.
yeah. But life picks up pace after that, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, it does. It's difficult to get in, but oh, no, I hope you have a great time. And Louise, that's been wonderful. And just for anyone that's watching, like to get in touch with you or
Mhm.
Henley Reward Consulting, what would be the best way to do so?
So please reach out on our LinkedIn page, or you can contact me. I can give my number. Shall I give my number?
Yeah, if you'd
Yeah.
like to.
So my mobile's 07798630382, or my email's louise.haines@henleyrewardconsulting.com. And that's our website as well with our team on there. But yeah, please connect with us on our LinkedIn. We both on the organisation and the team's LinkedIn profiles. We post quite a bit of what I think is interesting
Brilliant.
insight information
Yeah,
about events and webinars as well. So yeah.
brilliant. Well, look, I thank you so much for that. I'm sure there'll be some people wanting to get in touch because I think understanding their recruitment marketplace is so important, right?
Yeah, it's really competitive at the moment,
Yes,
even in this current climate.
very
To
much so.
find the right skills is really difficult. So just understanding the motivators and what people are looking for,
Yeah.
beyond just pay. We can obviously get that information, but what is it that can really help support recruitment retention, can be a real differentiator.
Yes, I completely agree. And I'm really interested. I'll keep an eye out myself for some of the events that you're running because it's something that I need to make sure I keep my clients up to date on and various things. So thank you so much for your time today. It'd be great to maybe swing by another 6, 12 months and just see the next stage
Yeah,
of your development and growth. But in the meantime,
great.
thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks, Chris. No, great to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.